Namaste, my beautiful soul tribe, my fellow warrior of love. Today, we're going to be talking about astrology and how to use it as a life hack. And I literally was listening to a song 2 seconds ago, and as soon as I paused it, the artist was talking about all the different zodiac signs, like completely unexpected, completely aligned. So that's a great sign for me. I just realized my cat ate half of my notes. So today we're going to talk about astrology. Again, everything I do is grounded and spiritual, grounded spirituality, how to take these deep esoteric spiritual concepts, but in a very grounded way. So whether you're an expert in astrology or whether you're new to astrology, this is how I use it in a very practical, grounded way. Step one, I would say, study the zodiacs. Just go through Aries to Pisces and just get a little acquainted with each one. There are four fire signs, three fire signs, three earth signs, three water signs, three air signs. And then the next step I would say is go online and then figure out what your chart is. Now, this part gets a little complex. There's a Western astrology, so you can type in get my free Western astrology chart. There's something called Vedic. There's something called sidereal. And there's probably a few more. And every time I talk to people, they're like, oh no, that one's not accurate. This one's accurate. So you decide. So far, I've only looked at Western, which really resonates, and I've learned so much from it. And I've looked into Vedic as well, which also resonates. So, first of all, if you haven't read the book, The Five Love Languages, that's kind of how I use astrology. I use it when I learned about love languages, I was like, oh my God, this whole time I thought, these people weren't loving me, family, friends weren't loving me, but they were loving me in their own way. And one of their ways of loving me was gifts or acts of service, right? But mine is touch and words. So they could never hug me or say nice things to me, but they're still loving me. But I never registered it as they were loving me. So when I learned there's five dominant ways, of course there's more, but five based on this book, it helped me realize, oh, that's how these people are loving. And it helped me know what I need in order to receive love. Like knowing what your needs are is very empowering, and asking for your needs is even more empowering. And knowing how you can love others in the way they want to be loved is very empowering, because this way it creates win-win situations rather than lose-lose situations. So that's how I use astrology. And I'll explain how I do that. So I like to look at each sign having a superpower. Each sign has a superpower, and each sign has a shadow aspect. So, example, the superpower of an Aries, you could just throw them on stage and say, hey, can you fill half an hour? And it's like spontaneity, leadership, impulsiveness, fire, um, so many positive traits. Fun, they're a playful inner child. That's my sun sign. So my Aries sun in Western is Aries. And then in Vedic, it goes back. Sometimes in Vedic, it just moves back sometimes. So in Vedic, I'm Piscean. When I look back, as a kid, I was super Piscean, even though my moon in Western is Piscean, and my sun in Vedic moves to Pisces as well. So, and then only in the eighth grade is when I kind of shifted into Aries and started fighting a lot and getting really intense and getting into rap and rock music, and that other side came. So the Aries side came out. So superpower shadow of Aries is impulsiveness. Sorry, it could be there's a positive impulsiveness, but there's also a negative one. There's also impatience. There's also like being like immature. What else? My ascendant. So the sun is a big part of who we are, but your rising or your ascendant is how other people see you. So a lot of times I'll meet someone and I'm like, you really feel Libran to me, or you feel whatever, even though their sun is, let's say, a fire sign, an Aries, a Leo, a Sag. We see them as their ascendant. So I don't know if you guys see me, as a Virgo, but Virgos are the healers of the zodiac. That's my sun and my rising. That's how others see me. So you find out what yours is, and that's how other people see you. It's almost like this is how we show ourselves to the world versus who we are on the inside or who we are emotionally, which is your moon sign. So your ascendant is how people see you, and mine is Virgo. So it's like the healer, grounded, like lists. Literally, I've got all these lists everywhere. It's very Virgo. The need, and they're the hermits of the zodiac. You can find for each sign, you can find potentially a tarot card that matches that sign. I don't know if it's for every single one of them, but I know it's for a lot of them. For example, the Aries is the Fool, jump and the net will appear. Virgo, it's the Hermit card, literally. Hermits like to stay at home. Virgos are very information based, they love information. So I noticed. So here's how you can use it as a superpower. So, for example, there's this online figure, Grant Cardone, Aries, his birthday's around mine. And his known for his concept of, okay, if your aim is to make 10,000 a month, 10x that and aim for 100,000. So one of his sayings is go big or go bigger. So it's a very Aries mindset. And he says he gets activated when the goal is huge. It just forces him to get into the flow state, into the focus zone, and get it done. So the Aries needs that intensity. All odds are stacked against them, and it's like climbing to the top of that mountain. But that's not necessarily everyone's way of wiring, right? So it's important when you're studying mentors, study the mentors, but find out what their signs are. And that way you can go, okay, we're wired in a similar way. Like I can appreciate these intense, a lot of my mentors are fire signs. I appreciate the fire. I appreciate the intensity, the boldness, the dream bigger than ever before. So um, just to slow down for now, love languages, when an Aries loves to have fun, loves to be a kid, loves to do spontaneous adventures, is very energetic, highly sexual, loves loves fiery things, and loves to lead, right? Loves to move. Then you can, if you want to go play and have fun, you could do that with the Aries friend. With a Pisces, they love the spiritual stuff. They're very poetic. So with a Pisces, I would like do some poetry with them. I would do some arts and craft painting with them. I'd have a cuddle with them. Like I would swim in the ocean with them, right? Some Watsu, it's a water therapy. Um, I would intellectualize, even though they're not an air sign. Air signs are intellectual, water signs are emotional. So I would emote with them. I don't know, share deep emotions. I could share deep emotions with them, talk about spiritual things. They're clear channels for the most part. The shadow of the Pisces is escapism. So a lot of them battle with addictions and want to escape this world. Um, yeah. So with the Aries, I would know not to piss them off. Not so the number one value for an Aries or sun signs in general is freedom, right? Number one value for Earth signs like Taurus is security, whether it's home, work, all the things that ground them, and is good foods, massage, touch, pleasures. Those things are important for a Taurus. Capricorn's more like it's an earth sign as well. It's like big thinker, on like a whole system that feeds a whole bunch of people. They're very traditional in the sense of home, family, that grounds them as well. They may not be wired to be the most emotional because each sign has its opposites. So technically they say there's 12 signs, but really there's six with polarities. So if you use Aries, which is over here, spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, Libra's in the autumn equinox, and they're opposing signs. So I would say to look at it in a different way. It's not like mastering my Aries sun, for example. It's about getting somewhere a healthy balance of my Aries and Libra. My Aries has gotten me in a lot of trouble in the past because I just do things without thinking. And the Libra maybe overthinks. So somewhere in the middle, right? Libra appreciates beauty, knows how to put others first in a healthy way, nurtures relationships. Aries can put themselves first, be a little selfish. And there's shadows for both, right? The Libra could be overly putting everyone else first, that it forgets about itself. And then the air and doesn't have boundaries, whereas the Aries could have very strong boundaries, but forgets to nurture others and ask other people how they're doing. So know that, like with a Capricorn, they're very entrepreneurial, capitalist, kind of creating systems, and Virgo's also attention to detail. So if I'm you're a lot of and they love information. So a lot of the Virgos I notice are leading podcasts. So this is how you link your astrology to your life purpose, right? So Aries, you could be like the guy I was talking about on stage. Tony Robbins is a Aries moon. So emotionally, one of his superpowers is like, how do we very quickly, Aries is fast, how do we quickly shift into a better state? Quickly. That's his Aries moon. But he also has this very spiritual side and has a soft side and a sweetheart. That's the Piscean sun part of him, right? So it's like kind of the opposite of me. Aries sun is my Pisces moon is a Pisces sun, Aries moon. But people have said similar things. Like when they receive my workshop, they're like, kind of reminds me of Tony Robbins, but more like more activating and embodying. So again, the Virgos love information, so it makes sense for them to have a fulfilling career as a podcaster, someone who's interviewing and what I like to do is when I'm studying a biography, reading a biography, or watching a biopic, a movie about someone, I like to find out their sun sign so I can get the codes. Okay, that's like the Virgo, the Virgo hero's journey or heroine's journey, and like the other day I watched the Elton John movies in Aries, so you see excess, drugs and everything, sex, drugs, alcohol, partying. Um, and then you can learn from, and then he went out and became sober, and then figured out his life. But for example, the superpower of Aries is just getting it done, getting it done, getting it done, imperfect action, just getting it done. So find out who your mentors are, find out what their dominant sign is, and see if that resonates with you, because it might not work for you. It might work for someone who's similar to that person. And then how to link it to your purpose is each sign has its thing. So, for example, a Capricorn, I joke and say they don't have an inner child, but they get younger and younger as they get older and older, like the Benjamin Buttons movie. And with them, I would definitely collaborate. Like, hey, you want to get shit done, work, collaborate on a work project. Capricorns are great for that. Leo's also fire, inspiration. I love co-working with my Leo friends. I love collaborating with my Leo friends. A lot of the songs I've done was with my soul brother Nico, who's a Leo, and they bring out the best in you, loyal friends. Again, the shadow of a Leo could be like wounded pride, like pride, too proud to ask, or such a big heart that they overgive, get hurt maybe when it's not reciprocated, when they make it too much about themselves instead of like sharing some of the light. So every one of these has a shadow aspect, but I know Aries and Leo can play well, right? So we're getting Taurus. It's like you want to make a tour, you want to go on a date with a Taurus, include massage, good food, and time in nature, for example, um, and like quality time together. But hey, Taurus want to go on a spontaneous adventure to Cancun? Maybe not. Leo, yes. Sag, yes. Um, Cancerians, I know they're the Cancer, they're the crab, they're highly emotional, highly sensitive, but their superpower is being able to tap into in the dream state. You get like strong downloads. They're ruled by the moon. So find out what your ruling planet is, and it also helps you understand the quality. So Aries is ruled by Mars, so the shadow is very palpable. It's unfortunate that we have to master our shadow, because the shadow of a Libra, for example, is people pleasing. No one's going to be like, man, that fucking Libra always people pleasing. No one's complaining about that. But with the Aries, when it's aggressive and angry and upset, and it's just throwing a tantrum and it's just explosive, it's people will get burnt by that. so so don't piss off an Aries. They're super loyal. They're super loyal. They'll ride and die for you. Right, you know, they'll just go all out for you. But if you betray them, if you take their love for granted, they could just slowly pull back, and you're like, what happened to that Aries? Just give you the silent treatment, torture you. So with cancers, I know if I go, hey, Cancer, how's it going? Da, 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 and the Cancer, I just feel just like, you know, and a lot of the Cancer men, like think Mark Wahlberg, Kevin Hart, strong exterior. So they're built strong. That's the exoskeleton, probably because they're so delicate on the inside. So they rarely, the Cancerian men rarely, the stereotype is that they rarely share that delicate side because they need to protect because of how sensitive they are. Piscean men are super sweet, the sweetest hearts, just like Piscean, you've graduated from the ego, you're now beyond the ego and attachment. Shadow of Taurus is attachment. Hey, what happened? Where's that thing I gave you 20 years ago? Like stuff, things, because that grounds them, right? Money. You know, you talk to Taurus, you're probably going to talk about work and money and projects. A lot of them are massage therapists because it's like grounding, it's embodied, it's in the body. Massage therapists, chefs, they're probably snacking a lot while they're eating. Chefs, you know, like think of Dwayne Rock Johnson, works out every day. That's a grounding thing. It's bringing you into the body. And each one of those zodiacs rules a different part of the body. That's a whole different thing. Aries is the head. Pisces is the 2 feet. It's the fish. Scorpio are the sexual genitals, so they're highly sexual. So it's good to know each one has its area. So, yeah, when I know myself, like the other day, this woman was talking to me and she was like, my partner's moon is in Aquarius, my moon is in Pisces. I'm like, even though those are not opposing signs, Aquarius can be detached from its emotions. When I ask my Aquarian friends how are they feeling, they're like, I think I feel. Because Aquarian is an air sign. Air sign is like thoughts, right? Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, they're all like shadow of Gemini is over too much in the head, right? Those, you know, just they need some kind of practice to quiet the mind and be here. Um, so so Aquarians are kind of they seem detached from their emotions, whereas Moon Pisces is highly emotional. Moon Cancer super emotional. Moon Scorpio can be super emotional, right? Um, so what I like to do is when you're in partnership, friendship, seeing like what can work, what can be in alignment, what could be a clash, and just knowing that help creates a hack. So you can get your chart, get your partner's chart, potential partner's chart, friend's chart, and see where things work. There's a really cool app called the Pattern app, and it literally can do that for you. Like, hey, show me how aligned I am with this potential partner or my partner or a friend. And it literally has the option for friendship or romance, and it shows you where things work and where things clash. It just does it for you for free. The Pattern app. So all of this is not like I like to see the self as a pie, and astrology is a piece of that pie. It's not who you are. We are infinite beings, and who knows? Like the Matrix programs might, you know, astrology and the planets might be a type of a Matrix program, a very sophisticated Matrix program that keeps us kind of impacted by them. So just like the full moon impacts us, I like to set the intentions that on a full moon, I'm shielded, protected in my high frequency, in my heart, grounded, and like good things happen to me, right? So you override what's there, where usually with the full moon, our stuff comes up, and you know you can have bad things happen. You know, this is scientific fact. Like hospitals know during a full moon, more accidents happen. Police officers know this. So yeah. So find out your sign, find out what's the opposite sign, learn about the opposite, and find the middle point. Also, I like to look at it in terms of elements. When you do your full chart, it'll tell you you're like 30% fire, 30% water, 30% air, maybe there's no earth, for example. And if you know whatever you're lacking, whatever you have very little of, I have two hacks for that. So let's say you have very little earth in your chart, then I would make sure I spend time on earth. I would spend time grounding, which I do barefoot, touching the grass, laying down on a rock, swimming in a river. I'm earthing. I'm getting the earth element from the direct element, right? I'm missing water. I'll spend time in water. You can also bring in these elements to your home. So grounding plants, maybe a water fountain. For air, you could, yeah, some kind of incense or a diffuser. And for fire, you can have candlelight or something like that, right? Bring in the elements directly from nature, or have connections that have those, like my earth friend, my Taurus friend really grounds me, right? When I talk to my Taurus friend, they have a lot of earth. I get that earth element by connecting with them. Hope I haven't lost you guys. That's just little nuggets of wisdom. And then what I like to do when you get your chart, it's going to tell you your sun is in Aries, your rising is Virgo, your moon is in Pisces. What I like to do then is go on YouTube and find someone that I really resonate with and type in, what does Aries and sun mean? And then I just take notes. What is, even though the app is going to give you a lot of that info summarized, and then just journal it. And then after that, there's another dimension where you find your houses. So I don't want to overwhelm you. I'm only now getting into the houses, but that's also very important. I was wondering why it was so intense and deep. And I realized my first house is Scorpio, which made so much sense. Like Scorpios have a strong bullshit detector. We can't do surface conversations. And I found a lot of these Scorpio traits in my how I'm interacting with people. And then that really helped me realize, oh, okay, there's my first house in Scorpio. So first dimension of astrology is getting the your rising, your sun, your moon, all the different planets, your Jupiter, and really understanding how that plays out. One's going to tell you, a lot of people forget about the North Node. Your North Node is what you will feel most fulfilled embodying, right? Your South Node is you've been there, done that. You've mastered that in many other lifetimes. You need to go to the opposite sign. Lots of people don't know about this. I created a whole video where you not only find your North and South node, but you do an infinity healing activation for its strengths. You can look it up, just type in TARC BB North Node or something like that. And then it really helps explain these different aspects. And then once that's done, I would then look at your houses. That's the next dimension, I feel, of astrology. Look at your houses. You finish Western, look into Vedic, see what resonates, what doesn't resonate. And yeah, our ego, like for example, my ego, when I go to an ecstatic dance, it's like a conscious music event. And a lot of the songs are fiery, right? They're fiery music. I'm like, yeah, fire. And then as soon as they play like a softer, watery air kind of song, I would usually, and the old me would sit back and wait till it's done. So it's like fire likes fire. But sometimes the opposite is balancing. So now I actually embrace the more feminine, softer, because fire signs are very masculine, right? So a lot of women I know who have a lot of fire in their chart, they tend to be very intimidating to others. So it's like knowing how to soften without like censoring yourself or dimming your light, but like having us knowing when to soften, when to be in your full intensity. Yeah, knowing the masculine, the feminine, right? Like air signs tend to be a little more flaky. Water signs can be flaky. It's tricky to build with someone who's not grounded, right? So when I go, oh, okay, air sign, you're going to keep changing their minds. But like a Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, they seem to be more solid and grounded. Yeah, so just knowing that you will be attracted to the signs that you're in, but like for example, my Taurus friends, find out what your Chiron is because that's your wounded part. It's your wounded healer. It's uh, your Chiron. And for me, it's Taurus. And it's like when I'm talking to a Taurus, I'm like, "Ugh." I just feel my fire going like this. I just feel like it's kind of being put out. And it's literally the equivalent of dumping earth, some dirt on fire. But it's also something that's my wounded part. So it's like I want to be around Taurus, learn from Taurus, because it's the part of me that's the weakest. Like when you're working out in your body, um, it's if you find out that there's one area of your body that's like there's more fat or you're wanting to be stronger in that area, you focus on that area, right? Same thing with your Achilles heel. It's the weakest part of you, so you want to spend more time with that. So for me, Taurus represents money, home, work. And so I had to work very hard with my money stuff to get it to where it is now because it's my wounded part. And home, I had to like say I'm committed staying in one place for a long time. I'm putting money towards buying some land. That's all very Taurus like. So knowing your superpowers, activating your superpowers and alchemizing your shadow aspects. Find out what the shadow is for each one of these signs. Like I said, you can go online and type in what is the Google or YouTube, what is the positive and the shadow of each. I have a whole program. I'll put the link in the description where you actually go over your astrology, go over your human design, you go over your numerology. There's like 5 different modalities, and then there's an infinity healing you listen to based on wherever your placements are to activate the strengths and heal the weaknesses. So I'll put that below. Very powerful program. I think it's called Know Your Infinite Self. And also know that I have songs. Me and my friend Nico, we had a plan of creating a song for each sign, and each song will have an infinity healing activation. So if you go on all streaming platforms, type in Indigo Prophet, which is my rap name. There's already one for Aries, which is called Aries Anthem. There's one for Leo called Leo Anthem. There's a music video for Leo Anthem and the song. And in it, there's an activation, an infinity healing to activate your inner Aries, your inner Leo. There's one for Pisces. It's called Mermaid Love. It's not officially Pisces, but it feels very Piscean to me. That's another good tip. And it's more of like, let's master each sign. Like we're all of them and none of them, but like, let's master the qualities of each one. And I think that's it. I did this on a friend's podcast, but she didn't record it. So I still have the notes and I figured let me share it with you guys. Let me know what you think below. What stuck out for you? What was your biggest takeaway? You resonate with astrology? What kind of astrology you resonate with? What are your signs? The main ones. And yeah, and check out the astrology program, Know Your Infinite Self. I think you're gonna like it. And if I can find a way to give you guys like a free sample of it, I'll put it below as well. Much love, keep shining, and let me know what you thought about this video. I want to keep all my videos to add value in your life. When I first shout outs to Nico Sofianos, my soul brother, the Leo guy I was talking about. He wouldn't shut up about astrology when I wasn't into it, and I was like, "Bro, can you just speak to me in English?" Like he's like, "Oh, you're Aries, warrior energy." Da, da, da. And I didn't get it. I resisted it. I felt like it was boxing me in, and then I got it, and it really helped me. It really helps me kind of understand, not understand, but understand people around me. Not to say that they're gonna fit that stereotype, but if I don't know them that well, but I know a little bit about their signs, it already gives me enough that I can build and play with that, and then I'm still gonna get to know them. I guess the shadow of doing this is you just box the person and you're like, no, you're an Aries. You should be like this. And it's like, no, sometimes I'm like that. Sometimes I'm not. Some people don't fit the stereotype. Um, like I met some Aries and I was like, why is this Aries always like awkward around me and they're shy or they're introverted? And my friend's like, yeah, he's like 90% introvert. I was like, what? There are Aries that are introverted? So it's like the stereotype I assumed. I assumed just based on their sign that they were going to be a certain way, and that's when it could bite you in the ass. Love you guys. Keep shining, and go to targetpeople.com for more exclusive content. And you can join our inner circle where we do 100, we do 200 infinity activations every single month in our inner circle membership. And I'll put the link in below, and stay tuned for more content.